If you've ever wanted a beginner's guide to natural medicine that actually tells you the truth, stop what you're doing right now and go open your kitchen cabinet, because before you spend another dollar on over-the-counter medicine, I need you to look at what's already sitting in there. Most households in the developed world have at least 3 or 4 of the 7 healing herbs I'm going to walk you through today, and yet almost nobody knows how to use them therapeutically. We treat them like garnishes. We treat them like flavor. We treat them like the background cast in a meal, when in reality, some of these plants have thousands of years of documented medicinal use, and in many cases, peer-reviewed modern research backing every single claim our great-grandparents made. The problem is not that these herbs don't work. The problem is that no one ever told you how to use them. And today that changes. Here is what's happening in the background while you're standing in the pharmacy aisle trying to decide between 2 brands of the exact same pain reliever in different colored packaging. The average American household is spending over $1,200 every year on over-the-counter medications. $1,200 on products that, by design, are built to manage your symptoms rather than address what's actually causing them. You take something for your headache goes away, and nothing about why you had that headache has been touched. Meanwhile, the over-the-counter pharmaceutical market is worth $35 billion annually, and that number grows every time you reach for a bottle instead of your spice rack. The industry has no incentive to tell you that ginger root has been shown in clinical studies to reduce nausea as effectively as certain pharmaceutical antiemetics. That information doesn't serve a $35 billion supply chain. What does serve it is you not knowing. And I want to be very clear. I am not asking you to throw away your medication or tell your doctor their job is irrelevant. What I am asking you to do is add knowledge to your toolkit. Because right now, you are operating with a massive blind spot, and somebody else benefits from that blind spot staying exactly where it is. Our great-grandparents didn't have a pharmacy on every corner. They had kitchen gardens. They had apothecary jars lined up on wooden shelves with carefully labeled dried herbs inside. They had knowledge, generational, practiced and passed down through families, that told them which plant to reach for when the fever came, when the stomach cramped, when sleep wouldn't arrive. That knowledge was not primitive. It was not superstition. It was the entire foundation of human healthcare for most of recorded history, and in the last 100 years, it has been systematically buried beneath a pharmaceutical model that profits from dependency. Many cultures around the world never lost access to this knowledge. Traditional Ayurvedic medicine in India, traditional Chinese medicine, indigenous healing traditions across every continent, they kept these plant systems alive, and modern pharmacognosy, the science of medicine derived from natural sources, has spent decades confirming what these traditions already knew. Today I'm giving you 7 herbs, the research behind them, how to prepare each one, and practical starting doses so that this information actually lands in your life and doesn't just stay theoretical. Let's start with the first 3. Chamomile is the one your grandmother probably told you to drink before bed, and it turns out she was citing biochemistry she didn't know she knew. The plant contains apigenin, a flavonoid that binds to benzodiazepine receptors in the brain, the same receptors that pharmaceutical anti-anxiety drugs target, and research published in journals including Phytomedicine has confirmed statistically significant reductions in generalized anxiety disorder symptoms among people using chamomile extract long-term. For sleep, a 2017 randomized controlled trial in the journal Complementary Therapies in Medicine found that elderly patients taking chamomile extract twice daily showed significantly better sleep quality compared to controls. To use it, steep 2 to 3 grams of dried chamomile flowers in hot water for 10 minutes, drink 1 cup 30 to 45 minutes before sleep, or twice daily for anxiety support. The second herb is ginger, and this one has arguably the deepest research base of any plant on this list. Ginger's active compounds, gingerols and shogales, act on serotonin receptors in the gut and have demonstrated meaningful anti-nausea effects in clinical populations including pregnant women with morning sickness and chemotherapy patients. Beyond nausea, a 2015 meta-analysis in osteoarthritis and cartilage found that ginger supplementation significantly reduced pain and disability in knee osteoarthritis patients. You can prepare fresh ginger tea by simmering 2 centimeters of peeled root in 2 cups of water for 15 minutes, strain and drink. For anti-inflammatory support, Aim for 1 to 2 grams of dried ginger or its equivalent daily. Third is turmeric, and if you've heard about turmeric before, you've probably heard it oversimplified. Curcumin, turmeric's primary active compound, is a potent inhibitor of NF-κB, which is one of the central molecular pathways driving chronic systemic inflammation. A 2019 meta-analysis in Nutrients examined randomized controlled trials and found curcumin supplementation significantly reduced markers of inflammation including CRP and IL-6. The critical preparation point here is bioavailability. Curcumin is poorly absorbed on its own, but combining it with black pepper, which contains piperine, increases absorption by up to 2,000% according to research published in Planta Medica. Golden paste, which combines turmeric powder, black pepper and a fat like coconut oil, is the most effective kitchen preparation. Use half a teaspoon of golden paste daily to start. Now here is the part that should genuinely make you sit back for a moment. The 4 herbs coming up, garlic, peppermint, echinacea and holy basil, are the ones the pharmaceutical industry studied, borrowed the active compounds from, synthesized into patentable molecules, and then packaged into products you can buy for $40 a box. The plants themselves, which contain those same compounds in their natural matrix, are available in your grocery store for almost nothing and cannot be owned by anyone. Keep that in mind as we go through them. Garlic first. Allicin, the sulfur compound produced when raw garlic is chopped or crushed, has demonstrated significant cardiovascular benefits in multiple clinical trials, including reductions in systolic blood pressure comparable in some studies to first-line antihypertensive drugs. A 2016 meta-analysis in the Journal of Nutrition found that garlic supplementation reduced total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol significantly across trials. Garlic also exhibits broad-spectrum antimicrobial activity. Studies have shown effectiveness against Helicobacter pylori, Staphylococcus aureus, and even some drug-resistant strains. To activate allicin, crush or chop garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes before eating or cooking. 2 to 3 raw cloves per day is the therapeutic range used in most studies. Peppermint is next, and its value for digestive health is one of the most clinically well-supported stories in herbal medicine. The menthol in peppermint acts as a calcium channel blocker in intestinal smooth muscle, which means it physically relaxes the gut wall and reduces the spasm patterns associated with irritable bowel syndrome. A 2014 meta-analysis in the Journal of Clinical Gastroenterology found that enteric-coated peppermint oil capsules significantly reduced IBS symptoms compared to placebo. Peppermint tea, 1 strong cup made with 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried leaf steeped for 7 minutes, can meaningfully reduce post-meal bloating and cramping when used consistently. Echinacea has been the subject of enough conflicting studies that it's become a talking point for both sides, but a 2015 Cochrane review of randomized trials found that echinacea preparations reduced the risk of developing a common cold by 10 to 58% depending on the preparation used, and reduced the duration of colds by an average of 1.5 days. The key variable is species and preparation. Echinacea purpurea, especially from the aerial parts, shows the strongest evidence. Tincture or standardized extract, taken at the first sign of immune stress and continued for 7 to 10 days, is the most evidence-supported protocol. Holy basil, called tulsi in Ayurvedic medicine where it has been used for thousands of years, is the last herb on this list and perhaps the most underappreciated in Western wellness circles. Modern research has identified it as an adaptogen. It acts on the HPA axis and helps regulate the body's cortisol response to chronic stress. A 2012 randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine found significant reductions in stress and anxiety scores in participants taking standardized holy basil extract over 60 days. Separate research has documented beneficial effects on blood glucose regulation. Holy basil tea made from fresh or dried leaves is the simplest preparation. 2 cups per day brewed from 1 teaspoon of dried leaf is a reasonable daily protocol. There is no money in garlic. Sit with that for a second. Garlic cannot be patented, branded, put in a proprietary capsule, or marked up 400%. It grows in the ground, it costs almost nothing, and its cardiovascular and antimicrobial properties are documented in peer-reviewed literature going back decades. For an industry worth $35 billion annually, garlic doesn't represent an opportunity. It represents a threat. And that is not a conspiracy theory, it is a business model. The pharmaceutical industry operates within a patent-dependent revenue structure that requires novel, ownable molecules. They cannot make money from a plant that has been growing in human gardens for 7,000 years. So the incentive to fund large-scale public awareness campaigns about garlic's therapeutic value is exactly zero. The incentive to fund research into a new synthetic molecule loosely inspired by allicin, give it a brand name, run clinical trials, patent it, and sell it for $60 a month is enormous. This is not villainous in some cartoonish sense. It is the logical output of a system optimized for profit. Understanding that system is the first step to operating outside of it. Here is your action step. Pick one herb from this list, just one, and use it every single day this week. If you have trouble sleeping, start with chamomile tea tonight, 30 minutes before you get into bed. If your digestion is off, brew a strong cup of peppermint tea after dinner. If you want to start building cardiovascular resilience, crush 2 cloves of garlic, wait 10 minutes and eat them with your lunch. Then come back to the comments section and tell me what you noticed. Starting an herb garden. Even a 3-pot container set up on a windowsill with ginger, holy basil, and peppermint is something you can do this month that will pay compounding returns for years. The next video in this series goes deeper into one healing herb specifically that has been the subject of legislative attempts to restrict or ban it in multiple countries. I'll show you the research, the regulatory history, and exactly why an industry worth billions has had such a strong and consistent interest in keeping you away from it. Subscribe now so you don't miss it, because that video contains information they have actively worked to make sure you never see. And if this one gave you something real and actionable, if you're walking away knowing something today that you didn't know yesterday, hit the like button, share it with someone who deserves to know what's sitting in their kitchen cabinet, and subscribe so you never miss the next piece of knowledge they do not want you to have.